Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Ronnie, where I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. This week, I know I'm very casual, but that's okay. Um, Sometimes I look at different things that go on in the media, and today I'm going to talk about a few situations, but the first one being the situation with Scrappy and Chaotic. I am a little confused as to why there is, I would say, some irritation there between them two. I read some of the comments, so I watched one of Scrappy lives. I also watched a couple of chaotic lives, and what I would like to say about that is I think that both of y'all are wrong. One, because if there was an issue, y'all should go to each other. I don't think that the public really deserves a reason why, from chaotic, things are the way they are. That needs to be explained to Scrappy. But I saw a lot of comments that Scrappy was jealous, that he needed to grow up, that Mama D ruined him. It's just a whole lot of things. But I will say that on Scrappy's behalf, I feel like that he did not handle it like an adult at all. Chaotic is a grown man, and you naming off all the things that you feel like that you've done for somebody does not give you the right to speak to them so disrespectfully that you tell them, I'm gonna beat your ass. That may not happen. And the fact that you're trying to, I guess, rally people together to be on your side is ludicrous to me. I feel like, in a sense, chaotic is right. If Scrappy is not putting in the work to be able to, for whatever reason, not able to put in the work on the YouTube channel, then of course the show must go on and you move on. And then I saw a live where Scrappy talking about he was stealing, he was using my family, he was doing this, he was doing that. Scrappy has been in the business long enough to know that if you don't have it on paper, then you're not getting paid for it. So you willingly let him come in and film with your family and all this, and then when you're not pulling your weight and not a part of it anymore, and the name has changed, now you want to be paid for your part of the footage. Now, I did understand chaotic when he was saying that he has businesses and that he looks for things outside of love and hip hop to build on his empire. And I 100% wholeheartedly agree with that. And to his point, when Scrappy was saying, I make enough money off of love and hip hop, I make enough money off of this, enough money off of that, that may be so. But that still does not have anything to do with, on this particular project, you said that you did not have time to do it. So therefore, the other party involved has to make adjustments to be able to carry on without you. And just because a person make adjustments to carry on without you does not mean that all of a sudden you want to get paid when there was no money being made at the time. And on top of that, the total disrespect. If that man was ever your friend, at the end of his life, he prayed for you, and it's like you had venom for him. So I'm gonna be watching that more closely, and I know that Scrappy called herself trying to go at chaotic, and I guess in one of the filmings of the Love and Hip Hop episodes, And I just think that that is very immature, that to be at Scrappy's age, because I know Scrappy is around my age or a little, maybe a few years younger, but to be at his age and you wanting to fight to solve your problems, and when you're not agreeing with something, to me is ludicrous. And if you didn't put in the work, you didn't start the channel, you didn't try to get endorsements and all of that, you know, I'm going to leave that at that, because it seems like there's a sense of grand self importance that may not be there, you know? So I'm going to follow that a little bit more closely. The next one is um, about, I just have to ask this question. What is the issue between WAC 100 and J Prince Jr.? Because I saw a lot of people reporting on it, and I saw that J Prince Jr. put like some message on his live, and I think that he was talking in general. I don't follow it closely, but it was something to the effect that people were saying that he was speaking on WAC 100. And when I have to ask, what in the hell got into you, WAC 100? That you went berserk like that. I mean, it's like he just got fouler and fouler at the mouth. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's going to happen with this one, because it's like, you can't just ignore that. He talked about you and talked about the J Prince Jr. and talked about slapping him all kinds of which ways. And I mean, I was like, oh, wow. So I'm just, what brought me to that was people were reporting on the Mace and Cameron. And I never knew Mace was that funny, because he was like, "Oh, you the big homie," talking to Jay Prince singing, "Oh, you the big homie, and then people need to talk to you." Well, I'm talking to you then, and I was like, "Oh my God, they are so funny." But I do like the fact that when they had criticism of the way that they were came to, I agree with, I can't remember who the commentator was, but I do agree that they addressed it like grown men, and that it was like, hey, we have an opinion. We can say this. The days of being sunned in school is over, meet me man to man. And I thought that was a very grown man response as to the situation with Chaotic and Scrappy, how people are wanting to fight instead of just saying, this is what I mean, this is what I'm saying. So I think all in all, with the situation with the way that Cameron and Mace handled things was great. Then you look at the situation with the way that WAC 100 and J Prince Jr. handled their situation, and I think that there might be a episode 3, 4, and 5, because from my understanding, that was the second episode where Whack went whack on somebody. Um, the last thing that I'm going to talk about, I was watching one of my favorite YouTubers. He does commentary. His name is Rodney the Voice. And he was talking about um, the political climate. And I'm not going to say too much in that area on the political climate, but I do not agree with the critical race theory not being taught. How are you going to do away with learning more about culture and how things work, and why this is to be? And I think that some people are missing the mark, that if people get out and vote, they're going to vote for people like them. You have to embrace I get it wrong, I call it the LGBT, whatever it is. People are people to me. So that community, the every community. And if your neighbor can identify as one of the people or a part of a theory that you don't agree with, but you can look at these people and see a person, then I don't know if I would want my country ran by somebody who don't accept all people as all people. And that's just my thing. But writing the voice, he made some very valid points about when you agreeing to take away one person's freedom because it doesn't affect you. Eventually, it's going to be one of your freedoms that's taken away that you're not agreeing with. But I know this may sound a little scattered, but I just wanted to talk about the situation with Scrappy and Chaotic, the situation with J Prince Jr. and Whack 100, and the situation with J Prince Sr. and Mace and Cameron. And I think that if you just look at all just those three scenarios together, we can see who has grown up, who still has some growing to do, who is just not going to get there. And I guess I'm going to leave it with this because normally I leave advice for artists. And although a lot of these are artists, but not in the capacity. But Scrappy, I think that you owe Chaotic an apology. I really do. And Chaotic, I think that you owe Scrappy an apology because some of the things that you revealed, such as people were telling me not to work with you because you're not about your business. That's something that you could have said to him and not put on the way up for your channel. But that's all that I have for today. And I will see you next week with a new artist interview. But I did want to talk about this a little bit. Don't forget you can catch us streaming live on social media. I don't know what's up with my YouTube channel, but if you're seeing this, please go to my YouTube channel and subscribe because YouTube is messing me off. But streaming live on social media. Um, you can catch the podcast on all podcasting platforms. You can go to www.blonde-intelligence.com and there is a page there. And you also can get services for musical and recording artists there. And I will see you next week. Bye.
Hey girl, let me tell you about this podcast.
Girl, everybody has a podcast these days.
But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Really? Where can I find it?
It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com.
What'd you say it was called again?
It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out.
Give it a check, girl.